All right, Greg Miller, SFAVolleyBlog.net, and we haven't done this for a while. Gosh, I mean, COVID kept us from sitting down and chatting. And for those of you that haven't seen these videos before, we'll be doing this all year long with players and coaches from around the league. I'm Greg Miller. I'll be on the air this year, TV, radio. And Payton Cerny is going to be with us to start off. With the 6'4s, I got to stick together, so I wanted to go with Payton first. And we'll talk to all the seniors this week when Northwestern State comes in this weekend for scrimmage. Make sure you're here in Shelton Gym. I'll also get a conversation with their head coach, Sean Kirikoff, while he's here. And so first, let's hear from Payton. First off, Payton comes in this year actually listed as a senior, so we're going to talk about that. 466 total kills while at SFA. She's at 193 blocks, so she'll cross the 500 kill, 200 block plateau at some point this year. But Payton, thanks for being the first after a year off from sitting here and doing this.
Well, thank you for choosing me to be the first. I'm really excited to be back and being able to do these interviews again because they're really fun.
Me too. We've traveled all last season and got to talk on audio, but the video is just something that we've missed during the pandemic. I mentioned, this year, athletically, a senior, just give everybody kind of a feel for kind of where you are in progress in terms of both academically here at SFA and on the court.
Academically, I am grateful to say that I did make the academic all conference team, so I'm doing well academically. And I just came back about 2 weeks ago from a torn meniscus surgery, and so it's been a little rocky road getting back. I didn't get to play any volleyball in the spring, but I just got cleared. I'm ready to just keep playing and get back to what I was before my surgery.
So now some of the fans know this, but let's talk about this. With COVID, there's extra years and all of that. Where are you in terms of eligibility for SFA?
I definitely have a fifth year to take. My goal is to take my fifth year here. I would love to do that. I love the program, the community, everything about the school and just the town. So if all goes well, I would love to come back for my fifth season here.
So most everybody gets these COVID waivers, and so we've been getting extra years of eligibility. Some athletes are taking them, some are not as they go into that fifth year. Payton, last year the club was 19-10, its first year in WAC play. We were 8-5 in actual WAC opponent play. And when we got to the end of the year, we're able to have that thrilling 5-set win over Chicago State in the first round of the WAC tournament, and then lost to eventual champion Utah Valley. Then went to the second round of the NIVC. What was your take overall in that first year in the WAC? What differences did you see or similarities between what you'd seen in the Southland and the WAC? How would you compare?
Well, the differences, I definitely saw that the WAC was a lot more competitive than the Southland. The teams, we played so many teams that we've never played before, and they were just ready to win, and we went to a lot of their home territories. But the differences, there's so many. We get to travel a lot more, so it's taxing on our bodies and on our minds. But it was just a great experience. I definitely thought that we went in with our heads held high, but I think we kind of got burnt out just at the end because we weren't used to that level of play, meaning our competition in the Southland wasn't as high as it was in the WAC. So I think we were taken aback by that in the beginning, but once we adjusted, I think we did well. But we definitely could have pushed ourselves a little bit more, but I think we're just trying to adjust to the whole new conference.
And there are still some teams in the WAC that we haven't seen that we will see this year. Our longest trip this year that comes in the middle of WAC play is that we'll be in Seattle University, a WAC opponent that we haven't played. Have you ever been to that part of the country before?
I have been to Spokane, so that's probably the closest Washington I've been. And actually, a teammate that I played with in club and in high school does play at Seattle U, so that will be good to see her and play against her.
That's kind of random because you're from Richardson, so to get all the way up there to Seattle. Yeah, in the middle of the WAC slate, we'll take off to Seattle. We'll play there, and then we'll wind our way down south of Salt Lake City to take on Utah Valley on the long trip. Cal Baptist, who we have not played yet, will come here during the middle of the year, and so will new WAC opponent Southern Utah. So we will get to see some of those other schools from the West we haven't seen. Overall, as you kind of think about this year, fourth year here at SFA, as you kind of self-evaluate, what's your most improved skill?
I'd probably have to say my blocking and maybe shots, because I came in as a freshman didn't know anything about blocking. All I knew was just to jump and put my hands on the net. Didn't know the techniques, the eye sequencing, or anything like that. And then I came in just having the line as my only shot. And now I feel like I can mix up the ball a little bit more, and I can play around with where I want the passers to think I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do this. So I think blocking and shots would probably be my most improved skill over the past 4 years.
When you think about that first year for you, you got in that one match, and then you were in heavy rotation for the last 2 years. Who do you look back on and think about as your mentors on the team when you were a freshman? And the reason why I ask that is now the tables are turned. You are, along with Kelsey and Adi, who we'll talk to later this week, the folks that the freshmen look to. So who are those people that you remember that played that role for you?
Definitely Corinne Evans. She was just a model player person, just all around amazing person. And then Ann Hollis, she was a beast at the right side and as a setter. And then even off court, Julia, she was just an amazing person when we were all struggling and not understanding why we weren't playing or why we weren't doing good. She was just always right there for us to talk to. And I try to carry that over into the freshmen now, because the way those three made me feel was just amazing. So I want to keep that.
And, again, that first year, kind of a learning year for you. Then a second year, big uptick in on-court responsibilities, and that carried over to last year. But along with last year, one thing I saw in you is the team leaning on you more for that leadership, for that off-court camaraderie, and just kind of pulling the club together. Is that something that you feel like has become more and more natural for you? Because, again, you're part of that core leadership group that the club's got this year.
I would like to say that it is natural, just because I think of my personality. I'm a very loud and outgoing person, and I think that kind of draws people in to want to be on the same level as me with like energy wise. So I would like to say that it's because of my personality and that they just want to match it and all that. But I mean, I can only hope that it is and not just because they're forced to.
Let's finish this in the last 2 or 3 minutes with kind of a talk about changes. We're not going to go through every subtraction and every addition. This team has 10 new players, and as the year goes on, obviously all of you will get to see them in action here in Shelton Gym and on the road, and we'll get coverage of everybody. But let's kind of break down a little bit. I mean, we lose Taya Mitchell to graduation, Cody Garcia, fifth-year setter, also to graduation. And then Briley Contreras on the back row transferred out, and then also Val Rosado, who went to Florida Atlantic. So you've kind of got, and there's others, but you've kind of got those at each position. So Coach Humphreys, of course, and the Brain Trust bringing in a whole bunch of crew. Let's start with the back row. There are a whole bunch of new back row players here, and that is an area that I've seen when I've been in the gym this past week is really short up now.
I think once we had a bunch of people leave and transfer and stuff, we did struggle a little bit just because we weren't sure of who was going to be our dominating. Like, we had a Maddie Miller. We were looking for that next girl to be Maddie Miller. But now we're 5 deep at least in the back row, and I'm fully confident in each and every one of them that they know what they're doing, that they're going to talk, and that they're going to go for every single ball no matter if it's realistic or not.
Here today in the inter-squad scrimmage, we got a chance to look at Northwestern State transfer Haley Hong, and we also got a look at RGV transfer Ivana Ramos, and then Izzy Denton, freshman, got in with the lead team in that libero spot too. So lots of new faces on the back row. In the middle to replace Taya, we've got a few freshmen there too that have stepped up here early in camp and have done real well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kelsey Harrington, senior now, she's really stepped up to help take over that position that Taya had. And then we got a transfer this past spring, and now we have a freshman taking over the middle position. And they're just working every day with their timing, with their blocking, their jumps. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do this season.
And speaking of freshmen, we've also got some new outsides. Again, Leah Powell, a mainstay in this offense. She'll be out there. But today we got a good look at some of the new freshmen that are out there on the left side as well. So that's another offensive piece for this club.
Oh, yeah. The outsides, I mean, I think we're always a powerhouse for the outsides. Just we feed them almost every single ball that we can, or if it's in a bad situation, they always know what to do with it, what shots to make. But Cameron Hill, she's one of the main outsides, and she's just dominating with her serve, her energy, her passing. I'll be really excited to see what she does for this season.
Cameron Hill, Isabella Ortiz, that we mentioned a minute ago, in the middle. And this club has 4 setters now on the roster. Of course, Maddie Bork, she'll be back out there, a returner, and Trinity Frunderberg also out there. But 2 new setters coming in too. Talk a little bit about them.
The 2 new setters are very, how do I put this? They're picking up the pace as much or as quickly as possible. They've really just latched on to watching Maddie Bork and Trinity just go fast and go hard every day, and they come in every day working their butts off, and I think it's really going to pay off because, I mean, just from day one, they've grown so much as players, and setters do run the court, so they have to be strong mentally and physically, and I think they'll do great.
SFA today, and pretty much since I've talked to Coach Humphreys, committed to running that 2-setter offense, and so that means that Maddie will be out there with Trinity or one of those new freshmen. So great to see everybody get integrated here today, and great to kind of get back to conversations like this. Payton Cerny, again, 466 kills, comes into this season hitting 273 for her career, always up there near 275, 300 on the stat sheet. So hopefully, Peyton, you put up about 150, 250 more, maybe 300 kills this year, and then get up to 200 blocks. Thanks for being the first. We'll get a chance to talk to Kelsey Harrington tomorrow, so look right back here in this space for the interview with her, and we'll see Peyton and all the SFA Jacks in action this Saturday here, 1 o'clock in Shelton Gym, scrimmage against Northwestern State. Thanks, Peyton.
Yes, thank you.